Hello. Today I am going to talk about my mother. She's, I'm feeling her presence since yesterday around me, a very pleasant feeling. So let me define her as I remember her. A struggle, never ending struggle, a work, always busy in work, an inspiration, an unending fountain of love and affection, a determination, a care, concern. So let me start with the most glaring things, that is her wish. What was that wish I'm talking about? It was that when she had come out from a bath, I was there in the room outside. So she asked me to that she has felt a lump in her breast. So she told me I was at that time 12 years of age to feel is there a breast or not. I was a bit hesitant. She said, "No, you are my son, so you can help me by trying to feel." And I felt, and there was a lump. I said, "Yes, mom, there is a lump." And so she told, and I told my dad, and he took her to one of the popular surgeons here who excised the lump under local anesthesia and sent for investigation, which is called histopathological examination or biopsy. And then the report, uh, we didn't come to know the report, but suddenly my maternal grandfather and some other my sister of my uh, mother, they came and they were discussing with my dad something, and so I suspected that something is wrong. I asked my maternal grandfather what's wrong. He said that the roots of the tumor which has been excised are poisonous. Well, that was the information which was in simple language, and so it was a malignant cancer. And then we were taking food on a table, and she made a wish. I remember I was sitting with her, and she made a wish. The wish was that she asked God for 3 years to survive, because at that time, even now, the cancer is considered as a death stamp. That as somebody has ordered death, means a death, early death, not a natural death, an unnatural death of suffering from cancer, which she knew. And she prayed to God before taking food to just for 3 years. And I wish she had asked for more years, because exactly she survived for 3 years after that. And that was the wish. I script some points here. So that 3 years, I wish that she had wished more. The cutting of the lamp, and then when it was discussed, what to do. At that time, it was 68 9. The chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and treatment was not that developed. Even now, it is not very well developed, but it was still primitive. And they were doing wide excision, like uh, that they were excising whole of the breast and doing clearing from the axilla. Now we are doing minimal dissections, and we are not excising whole of the breast most of the time unless the disease is advanced, which was not so in her case. But ultimately it was decided that, so we took her to, dad took her to Christian Medical College and Hospital, where her breast was removed. That was a mastectomy, radical mastectomy. Radical means that the tumor and the draining areas, the nodes in the draining areas from the axilla which go away in the lymph nodes, and the adjoining tissue all are taken away. That was removed to the extent that she needed a plastic graft of skin, and it was very ugly. When it healed, it was very ugly. So she was, having this mental pressurization or effect of having getting it removed. And at that time, we were not able to have the estrogen, progesterone receptors, the proper grading of the tumor, like we have now grading of the tumor, that what is the how much its malignancy or aggressiveness. Is it well differentiated or totally undifferentiated? Well differentiated means it grows slowly. Totally undifferentiated means it will grow very fast, and there are medium grades. And there are many types of tumors of cancer of the breast. So I think at that time they were not going much into these details. Although the Christian Medical College and Hospital at Ludhiana at that time was known as American Hospital, because it was aided by American societies and church, and they were getting lot of free equipment, and doctors were coming to serve here on deputation from various institutions there. So it was the only place which had a radiotherapy type of treatment. So I remember for staying with her in the hospital after the mastectomy, radical mastectomy, and then me and my dad taking her to the radiotherapy. That was a big door there and a big tunnel, and the entrance was not allowed because it was the radiotherapy. Also was a bit of primitive type of radiotherapy, which was a generalized radiotherapy given to all of the area, and it was more toxic than what radiotherapy we have now. We can have pinpointed radiotherapy at the areas we want, and safe type of radiations. So it was mostly radium based, I think, radiotherapy, because I had some inquisitiveness. I discussed with the nurses and doctors over there. So we will take her towards radiotherapy and the physiotherapy. Now, due to taking off the lymph nodes, the arm has swollen, or the lymph node not draining, the drainage area affected. So she was going for physiotherapy. There was a good physiotherapy department, and there was an European lady, a slim lady. So she will guide her, like taking the fingers, keeping on the wall, and like taking the arm up to make it movement. So, and various other sort of making the movements of the arm and muscles. So we were going for this thing, and so I uh, was, always I will come to it that very, very well associated, just sticking around to glued with her, and then we almost, she recovered from this physically mostly, although she kept that mental pressure and agony of mental agony of having a cosmetic effect and losing her organ, which the ladies, which is an important organ, ladies or gents, So we had almost forgotten. She has started working at home as before, and it was somewhat forgotten in the family. Then suddenly, it had a blast spread, and she started having cough and inability to swallow. First to solids, that she have difficulty that something is sticking here. Then she started that even her saliva won't go down when she's sleeping, and so she will cough because it will fall into her throat. It was very miserable seeing her coughing, not able to eat something and swallow something. She was put on liquid diet and she was investigated. Mind it, at that time, CT scan, computerized tomography scan, MRI scan, and other type of radioactive scans were not available at that time. Even ultrasound was not available at that time. This is now coming to about 71, 72, from 68, 69 to 71, 72. And so there was a tall Dr. Gill at CMCH, Christian Medical College and Hospital, Ludhiana. And it was decided that her food pipe can be replaced. Like, I have been in chest surgery and I have replaced quite a number of food pipes. So this surgery, that instead of the food pipe, either it is taken out or extra food pipe is given. Giving extra food pipe is bit easy. I have put it in many people that you attach from the pharynx here and take it under the skin and put it in the stomach or in the small intestine, mostly the stomach. So there is a person will chew and swallow and the food will go from here to stomach. But taking out from the chest, opening the chest and taking out, especially in a lady who has spread of disease and there are metastases, cancer here, cancer there, cancer everywhere. So she is weak from that because cancer eat weights nutrients, the micronutrients, the most important nutrients for the body of a person. So that creates some severe critical weaknesses in the body. So that surgeon had likings, special likings for being intrathoracic bypass surgeries. I do not know much in detail. He must have had many successful surgeries. But that surgery, that night before the surgery, I was the one who was in her room, sleeping beside on a separate bed with her, and nurses came in the morning and they dressed her up in the OT thing, and I had got up and I took a shower and put my clothes, and I looked at her in the tight clothes of the greenish, bluish green clothes of the hospital for the surgery operation theater. She was looking very nice, beautiful, and I complimented that, mom, you are looking very beautiful and nice. I compliment. So she asked me to, this was a pre-operative meeting. She asked me to come close and sit by close. I said, okay, mom. So uh, then she said she was the daughter of a doctor, Dr. Jeevan Maleri, MRCP from Edinburgh. And she said that I am the daughter of a doctor and a very well qualified doctor. And I know that there is a danger to my life in this surgery, and I do not have many days or years or months to live. And I may come out successfully because I had told Dr. Gill that either remove total cancer or just let me go. I do not want to suffer like this. She said, but I have something to ask from you. I said, okay, ma'am, ask. So she said, number one, that your two brothers are very young. They were really young. About one was about 2 years older, so he was around, say, 10 years, and one was 7 year older, around, say, 3 years or so. So 3 years, 3 or 5 years. And so please, if something happens to me, you take care of them. Okay, mom. I was myself 13 years of age, but she asked me that. And then she asked me that because she had been talking, because my maternal grandfather was a doctor, so she had been asking me, not asking me, but just saying that my son, this son will become a doctor. And sometimes not telling me that you work hard or something to become a doctor, but at times she will say that, okay, I think you will become a doctor. And so that's what she said. If you do become a doctor and you study, you become a good doctor. You educate yourself well, and then you serve the people well. I said, okay, I'll try. And then she took asked me for another thing. Actually, this is a long story. Cutting it short, that my father had a wife previous to that. Her. Uh, he had married 14 years before, from whom my stepmother, she had never had children, and they were not having good relationships. So my father had done an arranged marriage with my mother. So she said that now we were living separately, the children and my mother, and the other lady was living separately. So she said that there will be pressure upon you to let that lady come inside, but along with her come the brothers and the families of your father, families of brothers and the families of the brothers of your father, and the sisters of your father and the families of the sisters of your father. Now, both the brothers of my father was not had not appreciated this second marriage of my father, and they were not in very good terms with her. They had not welcomed her into the family. And the among the sisters of my father, one was neutral, one was almost anti her, and one was pro her. So she exactly said that if you let her in, your status and the status of your brothers will be reduced to servants of working, and you will not be able to progress in life. And whenever the pressure comes to that, please stand by it. I said, okay, I'll do it. Then she took her to the dad came and took her to the operation theater, and we were sitting outside. Then one nurse came and she said that the operation is over and she is in the recovery room. And me and my dad went inside. She was conscious. She said, send the children home. I don't know why she said that. So I was there and my dad was there. So we came out and my dad said, okay, you go home. I said, I'd like to meet her once again. Then I went in the recovery room, and she was, tossing in the bed as if she's not out of oxygen or something, or blood pressure has fallen. Maybe out of, that's what I've seen, out of oxygen. She's not able to breathe. And there was no nurse around. So I ran outside to tell to my dad. And he tried to come in, and then the nurse informed that she's gone. And then her body was brought home, and I was the one who was sitting in the ambulance on the front seat. And then it was her wish that her body we kept at home for a night. It was a morning, I think around 11 or 12, we brought her body home. And as per her wish, it was put into ice and kept there, not to be taken for cremation on that the very same day, but as per her wish to kept there for a night. And it was kept, and we sat beside her. Uh, after that, the period of my life was that we had a home with a big garden around. So I will be looking to the sky, towards the stars and the moons and the space, this vast space, trying that I may see her somewhere. So that's the hope, or the time, passing the time, searching for her in the stars and on the moon. And there was pain. And one of the ways for the pain to be countered was that in the garden, in the dark, where there will be lush green and lot of plants, and there were some ponds of water where the dew well will fall there and the water will be there. So what I'll do is remove my shirt and sit down there and let the mosquitoes bite me. Hundreds and thousands of mosquitoes for hours. So that was to balance the pain. The physical of stinging mosquitoes, the pains will balance my mental agony. So this was one of the ways I, managed to balance the mental agony with the physical feelings of mosquitoes biting me. Thinking in a thick foliage in the evenings, when this get dark, and so the thing is that after that I got admission into the medical college, and a new life started. And there my mind got a bit diverted, but the sincerity and memories were there. So once I had earlier also donated blood once in during the 1971 war at my college, Arya College. They had come from a blood bank from the border area of Amritsar. So although I was underage, I told them my age is that was I was just 13, you know, 30, 14 years, but they were taking blood of 18 plus. But they asked me, they were not also very much, there was no questions of that time, IDs and Aadhaar cards and other things. They asked me, what is your age? I said 18. So they took my blood. So there I was used to giving my blood. So when I in the first professional year, one of the person who got burnt and they were looking for a blood donor. My blood group is bit rare, AB group. And so they found out me and said then I donated blood for them. So there, some people who are already had made a blood donors club, they found out that I have donated blood. So that person was an employee of the hospital. I don't know, one Sadarji, whose father was ill, I donated blood for him. And he was an employee of the hospital, a technician. He informed them and they came to my room that you have donated blood and have you been? I said, I have donated once more. They said, we are now making a blood donors club, refreshing it. So you join it. I said, okay. So they said, okay, join it as a treasurer. I said, okay. So then I joined that blood donors club and that I started doing it because there was this feeling that, okay, if I am trying to do it to save lives for someone else, so my pain will decrease. And there was some, that feeling of that you can feel the pain of others. So that was the basic reason for getting involved into social and charitable activities like that. Because, I used to feel this and I felt it very much, especially when I came in contact with the patients and they were suffering a lot. I saw a lady in which I was doing a research thesis and she was having a big tumor in the stomach. And my thesis was to poke a needle inside the stomach and take out some fluid and cells, put it on a slide, stain it with the colors, and see what type of thing it is. It was leiomyosarcoma. And that was a laborer lady with a young laborer lady with a husband who was weeping and carrying a small baby. So at that time, we never used to have much blood. I'm not saying it just to get some credit or all, but such patient, whatever money I will have in my pocket, I'll give to them. Or somebody is suffering from cold or something. So if I have two, three woolen uppers, I'll give one or two to them. One was enough for me. So that was just because of this thing. But if I'm talking of medical college, there I met some good friends. They took me to gym, and we were drinking milk, hot milk on a vendor, a road's street vendor. adding five, six eggs, a lot of sugar into it after the gym. So my health transformed from a thin, lean person. I transformed to a muscular person. So looking back to my time of childhood with my mother was that I was like a pet to her. You was always be glued and sticking to her, like wagging my tail and all the way. In the morning I will get up at say quarter to 5. It was my time to get up, and I'll pick up utensil and walk about 2 kilometers to fetch milk, fresh milk from the buffalo milk at that time. And that also a milk who the buffalo who has given birth to the child at a bit long time so that the milk become thick. So I will recognize the buffalo and ask her, the person to get milk that buffalo in front of me, make him make the the utensil they were going to milk in, make it upside down so that there is no water in it. And I will sit beside that, and they will put some milk directly from the buffalo in his mouth and in my mouth also. Carry the milk home. And then there was, at that time, there was no gas, less electric burner, either kerosene burners or there were coal. That coal was hard coal from the rock coal, which will be a lot of smoke. Now I think that's not even available. So what I will be doing, I will be carrying a bag to fetch what we call in local language pathis, which were cow dung or buffalo dung cakes, and wooden cut wood and that coal. So I was doing all the works of my mother for my mother. So that I will go about just few, about 100, 200 yards from my home to a place. The people were, that was a couple who had no children, who will, give me a lot of love. And then I will select the wooden cut wood and the cow dungs, which should be properly round, and they will make me have tea. They will give me a lot of love, make me sit with them because they have no children. There was old villager Sardarji person and his wife, a middle-aged, must have expired long back. As I see that place is now occupied by someone else when I pass through that way. And then, I will come home and I will put that what you call the fireplace angithi outside the home, because I'll put some that wood things inside, cow dungs and the coal, and put some newspapers and put some kerosene on it and put it on fire, matchstick fire. Then it will start fire and lot of smoke will come out. That smoke had to go outside, and then when the smoke is gone, I'll carry that agiti home, and then the curds, I will be the one who will be churning the curds like that. We had a stick type of thing with the type of corrugated and ground and below. So we'll put it inside a pitcher, a wooden pitcher or a mud, baked mud pitcher, and I will do it with this like this. So it will put some butter and water and keep on doing for 15, 20 minutes. The butter will come out. So this will buttermilk and the butter. Take out the butter. Mother will cook some omelets and bread and other things, and along with that, we'll have that fresh butter. So mother will either give some almonds and that buttermilk itself, some butter, or some bread from the bakery, or she will make bread with the dough with gram flour and wheat flour and gram flour or maize flour like that, or mixed flour at that. So that was one, but she was very, very much fond of me, and I was very, very much fond of her. And to the extent that she will always be taking me to the markets. Whenever that time, there were few cars at Ludhiana and few scooters, only one or two cars maybe, and few scooters. And so we will be either traveling by on foot or in a rickshaw. So this was called a choda, means a very wide market, which is actually a narrow market. So at that time, it was considered a wide market because the lanes of the roads, the residential area used to be very narrow in the old city. So it was called a big, broad market because lanes were just about 4 feet or so. I don't know, they were keeping the lanes narrow for the security purpose, maybe because of the security purpose. They were carrying all the lane. The big, tall buildings will be there, and they were carrying very narrow lanes in the old cities. And so this was that he will be. So we had come outside the old city and had our place there, and where she will be taking me, catching. I will catch her finger, or she will catch my hold of my hand, and because of that, people were scared. The parents were scared that the child may not be lost. At that time, it was very difficult. The child is lost because there were child pickers even at that time, kidnappers, and they were afraid that some these people who walk in the grab of saints, they need people, children, so they said ki they will catch the finger and take the child away and keep it to their religious place or do something or whatever. The parents used to be a bit scared also. So they will, okay, hold the hand, or I will hold the finger. So they will, I was assistant to her to purchase clothes, to enjoy what we call beetle nut palm and golgappas, that water filled, tasty ones, and different type of sweets. And even she will take me to see a movie because my dad was a very busy person. He was an advocate, a politician, a social worker, or a leader. So very little time, very rarely she will take her to a picture or a movie and to the family. So, but I was the one. I remember having gone to the theaters with her and two of us sitting and seeing movies together, and walking together to market was quite common, not less than once in a week, and making some shopping, going to bakery, purchasing nice biscuits. There was a Bombay House bakery, and we used to purchase a lot of biscuits and other cheese fingers. There used to be other cheese fingers, but I used to call these lady fingers, and she used to laugh. Oh, Narotam, you want lady fingers or cheese fingers? I'll say lady fingers, mom. So these are cheese fingers. They're very tasty, crisp, and pistachio biscuits and all. So that we will bring, and she will send me to fetch groceries and vegetables. I will go to the market to purchase vegetables. I was good at it, to bargain also, and to purchase soft vegetables which are fresh. And that, I will sometimes, some vegetables are bitter, so I will chew the stem of the vegetable to find out if it is bitter. I will leave it. So that all vegetable vendors knew me. That is, the person is very particular to have good vegetables. So they will give me good vegetables. Fruits purchasing was the job of my dad. But vegetables, groceries, and these things, my mother will give me some money, go and get it. So I'll go on a cycle or on foot. So that way, the attachment and bonding was very, very big, extreme level. But there was, problems with me. You see, who was a voracious eater. I used to, in my childhood and school time, will eat away anything that comes my way. Anything means anything. Be it be a brick, be it be a coal, be it be a pencil or a slate, be it be the whitewashed wall, I'll scrap it and eat it away. And in lots, not less. I remember, now I am talking, now I am remembering picking up the bricks and the coal and the slates and sort of baked mud and scraping the walls and eating. And what will happen that after that, sometimes when I eat it lots of these things, although she will cook many nice things always, but I don't know, I was eating a lot of these things due to, and I will vomit out. And sometimes due to coal and all, and the pencils, lead of the pencil, which I know now it's poisonous, but I'll eat it away. Cut it off, take the lead out, and even the wood, I'll eat away. And sometimes even a soft glass. So I will vomit out. A big vomit will come out and it will fill the place. Now it will be having some foul smell because always vomiting, and then it will, if somebody has to clean it, somebody will come to know. And she will be very much worried, and she will shout at me, and she will put me, there was a fixed place on a cycle. She will make me sit on the cycle and she will start slapping me right, left, right, left. I will start shouting and crying. She'll hit me this way. I will fall. She will hit me more, catch my hair and slap me further. Never ever do it. I said, no, I will not do it. Please leave me. But I will do it, keep doing it. And she will then say to my brothers, bring that burning coal, put it on his tongue so that he doesn't do it. Everything they will bring the coal and show me that coal will put on your thing. She will go to a school, talk to my teachers. They will advise her put quinine on the walls because this is bitter, or put chili powder on the walls and on the place around. But I'll find some place. And I was not aware of all these things, that these things can have amoebas, these things can have the ovas of the worms and all. But it was voracious eater of this thing. And for that, she will bring calcium tablets and some special uh, calcium, which is Ayurvedic calcium for me. And she will always be running after me for milk because she was told that maybe this is due to deficiency of calcium and iron that he is doing all this. And so she will be after me to take around 1 kg of milk in different forms, and with love and affection and persuasion, she will be see to it that I consume 1 or 2 glasses of milk before sleep in the morning, and I eat eggs, all of it, 2 to 4 eggs, and I take fruits and eat other things, chicken and mutton. So she was trying to balance it to her best, and lot of vegetables, raw vegetables. At that time, this was gone out of fashion, but carrot, turnip, this all these things, radish, we used to eat full and wash it and eat it, chew it off. So she will see to it that I eat a lot, but still that craving for the mud and other things was there. And she will give me anti-worm, anti-helminthic tablet. They said maybe there are worms inside. They are asking for these things because so he's eating mud because the worms are asking. So she will repeated courses of anti-helminthics. She will keep discussing with the people, and that's way it was that she was so much concerned about us and our safety, also because of the family situation in which the environment was hostile. The families of the brothers of my father and one of the sisters of my father, and they were hostile, and we were all living together. And that her political thing, he was a freedom fighter, my father, and he was the first MLA from Ludhiana. And then he had fought with the second chief minister of Punjab. First chief minister was Bhim Sen Sachar, who had joined Punjab. And then Nehru had put Mr. Caro as the second chief minister. And a lot group was with Bhim and Sachar, and they were anti-Caro, who was a very strong acted person whose action will be very strong. So they were the political opponents were there who will take advantage of such things. And my mother was scared that some harm may not come to the children. So she was very protective about us from this point. And my father always used to carry a big gun. When he used to go out, he used to have a double barrel gun, and he used to hang to his shoulder. And he took us to the firing range and taught us how to take aim. Look through this cut, look through that spot, and look to three. Join the three spots and then fire. Keep it on the shoulder and fire. He made us fire many rounds, many times. And because he thought that maybe sometime we may have to fire this. And that means there was a lot of insecurity will in the things that will weigh on her mind. And she was, all the time working because my father was an advocate and politician, MLA, to the level of a minister, very close to the first chief minister, but he never took advantage, financial advantage of his political situation and positioning. He never took any bribe from anyone, never took like at that time when India was, independent. Lot of wrong economic things were going on. Everything, scooter, car, kerosene, sugar, cement, and oils, and the licenses of the factories, and the quotas of iron and cement to the factories, they were all being sold in black. And many politicians will join hand with the people to do this business of selling things in black or supplying with some commission to black on getting quotas or licenses. License, this was called a license Raj at that time, and the government of licenses. So, but he never took these advantages. He was doing his own practice of law and serving the people and giving money to any person, needy person who comes to take. Rather than taking money from the politics, he was giving money to the uh, country, to the profession, to the needy people, and to the party, political party. He belonged to the Congress party. He never took money from Congress party. People used to collect money from the people on the day. Nowadays, many positions of many, even the party positions are on sale because they have a say in the people and they collect money or the other favors. So this he never did like that. So he was short of money, and we used to live in a rented house. Before that, before after that, so I had a secret mission. You see, I accomplished some of our secret missions. One of the secret missions I accomplished because I was the most closest person to her. That was shifting our things from the rented house to a small home, which was the garden where I was. She was ultimately there, and she suffered from cancer in a covert way. And so what we used to do was there was a home which my father has built about two rooms and a kitchen and two bathrooms. So my mother and a big garden, which I was referring to. My mother wanted to shift there because this is was her desire to live independently with my father and with her family, away from the disturbances of a hostile environment. So, but she will not agree because my grandfather will not agree and other relatives will not agree. So she gave me a mission. So I will have a rickshaw in the when it was dusk. It was neither night nor a day. So we both will put some of our luggage like utensils and things into a rickshaw and cover it. And I will sit in that rickshaw and I will drive it with the rickshaw to this home. And there I have had the key, I will put it there. So slowly, slowly, it came to the moment that 80% of our things which were required for living were shifted there over the period of 2, 3 months. And then she told my dad that, okay, I'm shifting there with my family and you follow us there. I'm taking my children there. He said, how? How can you shift the things? And he said, you see. And the few things which were left there have left there, and she came there, which was already everything was in place. The kitchen, the things, the eatables, the clothes, the beds. So we shifted here, and dad followed us there because in a covert operation with her, I had over a period of 1 or 2 months shifted 80% of the things there. So this was a big thing which she was very happy in that garden where I used to work. I used to dig the ground and grow vegetables and flowers, and there were trees, and it was a very pleasant thing for her. Unfortunately, After few years only, she developed this bloody disease of cancer malignancy, which is unforgiving. So this was that what I will like becomes one becomes emotional, So I had scripted few things. Uh, I remember an incident because she was a very busy lady and my dad was busy, and but she was very sporting. Like I used to go out to play in the rain, cycle in the rain, or play in the mud in the rain. That time was nature was at its glory. There was less of concrete jungle. There were gardens, there were places, trees. You go. I used to go up the trees, make homes with the mud, and go and sort of do sort of swimming in the mud, catch these frogs or toads, and others sometimes see the birds what they are doing. So I will come home with dirty shoes and dirty clothes. She will never said me why you done that. She will just wash these. And so what is the thing is that I was not the one who used to like much of studying and serious studying. I used to go with the heavy bags used to be there, and I used to carry the bag when go home. When in the class up to sixth class, it was happening like that up to sixth class. So when the teacher will said, "Okay, you have done your homework, so give your copies." I will keep sitting. Then you say, "Those who have not done homework, stand up on the bench." I will keep sitting. So I will neither on the homework side nor on the punishment side. So that's it. I will come and throw the bag there and start playing. And so in the sixth class, I bunked. I failed. And in the sixth class, when I was studied, man. So my father and all my uncles, relatives came there. And they were shouting loud, "What's this not happening over the family? The child is not studying. He failed. What is this nonsense? This, what will we do?" Lot of disturbances, big voices. I was shattered. Then she got up. Then she took me by hand from there and she said, "I'm taking him away." So because those were people who were, trying to kill my mind and brain. And she took me to the bed, put me on the bed, gave me pillow, and gave me one cover. It was winter and quilt, and she started doing like this to me and singing a song for me, soft song with affection. Said, "No, you sleep. You will do well. Don't worry. These things happen. You will do well. Don't worry." And I can never forget this thing. So on occasions she will tell that, and after that I was transformed. I was really thinking that I failed, and I was trying to copy from my person ahead of me, and I was feeling bad that why I'm trying to copy. And I remember that place, that room, that place where I was trying to copy, and I was feeling bad, guilty about that. I didn't copy, and I gave the paper, which was very little things were written, and I failed. But after that, my internal strength and mind woke up. And then suddenly I was studying very well. The one Jasmine teacher used to be there, who used to English teacher, who used to speak in Hindi or Punjabi. I was the first person to translate it in English straight off and give the book to her. And I was the first person to the poetry of various people in Hindi to write its what is the meaning, deep meaning between the lines of this poetry or prose. And they will write it, they will read it in the morning prayer meetings, when whole of the school is there. The teacher will come, that Swarnwala teacher will there, they'll say, "See what Narotam has written, the meaning of this thing." And I came first in science, chemistry, physics, that was in science subject. Was my physics, was my biology, was my pet topic. And even that Indian drawing, I'm Rhoda, no, Mr. Rhoda, my respects to him. He did a small mistake and make my engine, piston engine drawing there. So which was showing some leaking. So I said, "Sir, please," said, "there is something need to be corrected." So, "Okay, come and correct it." So I corrected it. So he said, "Yes, yes, that's right." So I start studying first in chemistry, first in physics. That was my basic interest. I had to spend a lot of time in the laboratories doing these experiments. Archimedes principle, mixing chemicals, making hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, put zinc into hydrochloric acid. This aqua regia mixing the acids and all. So they were allowing me because they knew that I am interested. I have stood first in the English. But the point of telling it all this thing there is that when I failed, she supported me and she inspired me indirectly. Never asked me that okay, you become a doctor like that, unless the last day of her life when she said, if you become a doctor, you become a good doctor. You help the people, treat them well, help them. And this was a big indirect inspiration, not demanding. She never demanded something like that, that I must study. She gave me a free hand to live my life, to play and to grow by the natural way, and supported me in the wrong things which I did. She tolerated that. And that the best thing which I remember about her is her beating me and slapping me in frustration that something may not happen to my child. And that's mother. I have been recording some of my memories. So I will neither hair are going gray and some are dyed ones. So I want to record it for the posterity because luckily we have YouTube channels and I am doing it almost extempo and live. So things are coming from the heart, and these things that the role of a mother and the respect she demands will come only to the blessings, her blessings. Like I go to walk and now I feel she's around me. That comes only if you will help her and you will serve her. Because when she was suffering from cancer, I was the one who will be, pressing her legs or pressing her, or she will tell me that when I've got headache, Narotam, so I will be pressing her head. And when I used to have fever, she used to do the same thing to me. So it is what you will reap, you will sow. I have seen among relatives many people so much greedy about the money and other things that they don't have respect for the, or they are, think that that is their natural duty to do. What's this? Not, it's not like that. Uh, it's your thing which you must remember that if you want to benefit from the blessings of your mother, you must serve her starting from now. That's the message I want to give anybody who will is listening or will listen, that we are what our mother is. Not only that, the ovum from where we started and the 9 months we stayed in, her flesh and blood that built us up, our environment. We are just an outside extension with some genes from our father, but basically body of our mother, at least 50%, okay, even if you say that's a ground, fertile ground where we have grown, half from father and half from mother. That zygote that forms between the sperm and the ova and that grows. And outside she sports and she supports me, and I wish that I shall meet her when I am free from the skin after some few decades, not many, but few decades or years. So I meet her soul to soul, free from, and sit with her again. Thank you very much, and we shall too meet again.